Rebecca Chen walked down the aisle, and what was about to happen would make 300 wedding guests cry harder than they ever had in their lives. But wait a minute. This wasn't supposed to be a sad wedding. So why was the bride already in tears before she even reached the altar? June 15, 2024, Malibu, California. The ocean view was perfect, the white roses were beautiful, and the groom standing at the altar was waiting with the biggest smile. But Rebecca Chen couldn't stop crying. And not the happy kind. Let me tell you why. 3 months earlier, March 2024. Rebecca Chen was a 28-year-old nurse at Children's Hospital, Los Angeles. She had been engaged to her boyfriend Michael for 2 years. The wedding was planned, the venue was booked, everything was perfect, except for one thing. Rebecca's father had died when she was 12 years old, car accident, sudden, devastating. And for 16 years, Rebecca had lived with one dream, her father walking her down the aisle on her wedding day. But that dream was impossible. Dead people don't come back. Rebecca had tried everything to cope. She hired a wedding planner who suggested her uncle could walk her down. Rebecca refused. She asked her brother. He volunteered immediately, but Rebecca couldn't do it. Because here's the thing. It wasn't the same. It would never be the same. 2 months before the wedding, Rebecca almost canceled everything. She told Michael she couldn't go through with it. The pain was too much. Walking down that aisle without her father felt wrong, like betraying his memory. Michael held her hand and made a suggestion. What if she walked alone? What if that empty space next to her was a tribute? A way of saying her father was there in spirit. Rebecca agreed, but she wasn't happy about it. The days leading up to the wedding became darker. Rebecca stopped eating. She barely slept. Her friends noticed she had lost weight. Her smile had disappeared. The wedding dress that fit perfectly 2 months ago now hung loose on her shoulders. Her best friend Sarah pulled her aside 1 week before the ceremony. She begged Rebecca to postpone, to take more time, to heal first, but Rebecca refused. She had already made Michael wait 2 years. She couldn't ask him to wait longer just because she was broken. Michael tried everything to help. He suggested therapy. Rebecca went to 2 sessions and quit. He suggested they write new vows that honored her father. Rebecca couldn't even think about it without crying. He even offered to cancel the wedding entirely and elope instead. Just the 2 of them. No aisle to walk down. No painful traditions. But Rebecca said no. Because running away from the pain wouldn't make it disappear. She had to face this. She had to walk down that aisle, even if it destroyed her. The wedding day arrived, June 15th. Everything looked perfect on the outside. But inside the bridal suite, Rebecca was breaking down. Her makeup artist had to redo her face 3 times. The tears wouldn't stop. Her mother knocked on the door. She saw her daughter's red eyes and knew exactly what was happening. Rebecca's mother handed her a small photo. Rebecca's father on their own wedding day, smiling, young, alive. Rebecca clutched the photo and tried to breathe. She had to do this. She had to walk out there. Alone. The music started. Canon in D. The guests stood up, and Rebecca appeared at the entrance of the ceremony space. The Pacific Ocean behind her, the sunset golden, and her eyes filled with tears. She took 1 step, then another, slowly, each step feeling heavier than the last. The guests could see her crying. Some of them started crying too, because everyone knew her father wasn't there. Rebecca was halfway down the aisle when something happened, something that nobody, absolutely nobody expected. The music suddenly changed. Not the wedding coordinator's doing, not planned. Someone had interrupted the ceremony music. A new song started playing through the speakers, a soft acoustic guitar, and then a voice that Rebecca recognized immediately, Justin Bieber's voice. The song was one Rebecca's father used to sing to her when she was little. A lullaby. Rebecca froze in the middle of the aisle. Her hands started shaking. Why was this song playing? Who changed the music? And then she saw him. Justin Bieber stepped out from behind a pillar near the altar, acoustic guitar in his hands, singing live, right there, at her wedding. The 300 guests gasped, phones came out, people stood up. But Justin kept singing, walking slowly toward Rebecca, his voice soft and clear. Rebecca's knees almost gave out. She couldn't process what was happening. Justin Bieber was at her wedding, singing her father's lullaby. How? Why? Justin reached Rebecca in the middle of the aisle. He kept playing guitar, kept singing, and then he did something that made every single person in that venue break down. He extended his arm, offering to walk her down the aisle. Rebecca's mother screamed from her seat. The bridesmaids started sobbing. Michael at the altar had tears streaming down his face, and Rebecca just stood there in complete shock. Justin nodded gently, encouraging her, and Rebecca slowly took his arm. They walked together, Justin playing guitar with one hand, Rebecca holding his other arm. The song continued, soft, beautiful, heartbreaking. When they reached the altar, Justin stopped playing. He looked at Rebecca with the kindest expression, and then he whispered something in her ear, something that the microphones didn't catch, something that made Rebecca sob so hard she could barely stand. Justin stepped back, gave Michael a nod, and quietly walked to the side. The ceremony continued, but nobody was paying attention to the vows. Everyone was still processing what had just happened. The wedding ended, the reception started, and Rebecca immediately found Justin. She needed answers. She needed to know how this happened, why this happened, and this is where the story gets even more incredible. Turns out, one of Rebecca's patients at Children's Hospital was a little girl named Maya, 7 years old. Leukemia. Maya's room was covered in Justin Bieber posters. She listened to his music every day during chemotherapy. Rebecca had spent months taking care of Maya, talking to her, comforting her during the painful treatments. And one day, Maya had asked Rebecca about her own life. Rebecca had broken down and told this 7-year-old girl about her father, about the wedding, about the pain of walking down the aisle alone. Maya had listened, and she had made a decision. This little girl, fighting cancer, had written a letter to Justin Bieber. Through his official fan mail, she explained everything: Nurse Rebecca, her dead father, the wedding, the pain. Maya's letter was one of millions Justin received every month. It should have been lost in the pile, but something made his assistant stop and read it. Something about a 7-year-old cancer patient trying to help her nurse. The letter made it to Justin's desk, and Justin read it 3 times. Because here's what nobody knew. Justin's own father had been absent for most of his childhood. Not dead, but gone. And Justin had spent years dealing with that abandonment. He knew what it felt like to miss a father, to want him there for important moments. Justin made a phone call to Children's Hospital. He asked to speak to Maya's doctor. He verified the story, and then he asked for Rebecca's wedding details. The hospital couldn't give private information, but Maya's mother could, and she did. Justin didn't make the decision lightly. He called his manager first. His manager told him it was a terrible idea. The publicity risk was too high. What if someone accused him of crashing a wedding for attention? What if the bride didn't want him there? What if it backfired? Justin ignored every concern. He called his mother Patty next. He read her Maya's letter over the phone. Patty cried. She told him to do it. She reminded him of their own struggles, of the people who had helped them when nobody else would. Then Justin did something unusual. He went to the guitar store himself. No assistant, no bodyguard, just him. He bought a new acoustic guitar, spent $3,000 on it. He wanted the sound to be perfect for Rebecca's moment. For 2 days straight, Justin locked himself in his home studio. He learned Rebecca's father's lullaby note by note. He practiced the walking speed. He timed how long it would take to reach the altar. He rehearsed the arm extension. Everything had to be perfect. Justin cleared his entire schedule for June 15th, canceled a recording session worth $200,000, flew to Malibu the night before, stayed in a hotel under a fake name, and showed up at the venue 3 hours before the ceremony. He met with the wedding coordinator and swore her to secrecy. He set up the music interruption. He planned the exact moment to step out, and he prepared to give a bride the father figure she desperately needed for just 5 minutes. But Justin didn't tell anyone. No press release, no social media post, no publicity team. He just did it. The wedding video went viral anyway, because 300 guests all posted it. Within 24 hours, the footage had 50 million views. Within 48 hours, 200 million. But here's what made it spread even faster: the different camera angles. Because every single guest had filmed it from their own perspective. Videos from the left side of the aisle, videos from the right, videos from the back showing Rebecca's face, videos from the front showing Justin's guitar playing. TikTok exploded first, then Instagram, then Twitter, then Facebook. The algorithm pushed it to everyone. Young people, old people, people who didn't even like weddings, people who didn't even know who Justin Bieber was. The comments section became a therapy session. Thousands of people sharing their own stories. A woman in Brazil wrote about walking down the aisle without her mother. A man in Japan wrote about his sister's wedding after their father's suicide. A teenager in Australia wrote about dreading her future wedding because her dad had abandoned the family. People were crying all over the world. The video of Justin walking Rebecca down the aisle became the most watched wedding moment in internet history. News outlets tried to interview Justin. He declined every single one. His publicist released one statement. Justin attended a fan's wedding as a private guest and wishes the couple well. That was it. But people started digging, and the truth came out. A hospital volunteer recognized Maya's story. She posted on social media about the little girl who had written to Justin. The post included a photo. Maya in her hospital bed, bald from chemotherapy, holding the letter she had written. The letter was 3 pages long, written in crayon. Messy handwriting because her hands shook from medication. The volunteer shared what Maya had written, not the whole letter but parts of it, parts that made people sob. Maya had written, "Dear Justin, my nurse Rebecca is the nicest person in the world. She holds my hand when the medicine hurts. She brings me extra pudding. She tells me I'm brave even when I'm scared. But she's sad because her daddy died. Her wedding is coming and she has to walk alone. Can you help her? I know you're busy, but she deserves to be happy. She makes me happy every day." The letter went on for 3 pages. A 7-year-old fighting for her life, using her energy to write about someone else's pain, using her wish to help someone else. Maya's mother confirmed it. And suddenly, the whole world knew. A 7-year-old cancer patient had made this happen. The story became even bigger. Because it wasn't just about Justin helping a bride. It was about a dying child thinking about someone else's pain while battling her own. Donations started flooding Children's Hospital, specifically for Maya's treatment, over $3 million in 2 weeks. Maya's family was overwhelmed. They tried to refuse. But Justin intervened. He called Maya's mother personally and told her to accept every penny, because Maya deserved it, because kindness deserves rewards. Maya's treatment became fully funded, her family's medical debt was erased, and Justin visited her in the hospital one more time. He played guitar next to her bed, sang her favorite songs, and thanked her for teaching him something important, that helping someone doesn't always mean helping yourself. Sometimes it means helping someone help someone else. Rebecca and Michael sent Justin a gift. A framed photo from the wedding. Justin walking Rebecca down the aisle, the ocean behind them, both of them crying. On the back of the frame, Rebecca had written something, a message that Justin kept on his desk forever. It said, "You gave me my father for 5 minutes. That's 5 minutes more than I thought I'd ever have. Thank you for being the person my dad would have wanted to walk me down the aisle." Today, Rebecca Chen is still a nurse at Children's Hospital. She still takes care of Maya, who's now in remission, and every year on her anniversary, Rebecca visits Maya's room with flowers. Because Maya didn't just save Rebecca's wedding day, she taught Rebecca something about love, that it doesn't have to come from the people you expect. Sometimes it comes from a 7-year-old girl fighting for her life. Sometimes it comes from a stranger with a guitar. And sometimes it comes from a moment so unexpected that it changes you forever. Justin never spoke publicly about the wedding. But years later, in a rare interview, someone asked him about the most meaningful thing he'd ever done. He smiled and said something simple. Something that didn't give details, but said everything. He said, "Once I got to be someone's father for 5 minutes. Best 5 minutes of my life." The wedding video still gets shared every June. Millions of views every anniversary. People crying in the comments. People tagging their friends. People saying they want this kind of magic at their own weddings. But what they don't understand is this. The magic wasn't about Justin Bieber being there. The magic was about a little girl who thought about someone else while dying, a stranger who cleared his schedule for someone he'd never met, and a bride who learned that fathers don't have to be blood. Sometimes they're just the people who show up when you need them most. If this incredible story moved you, please don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. Share this video with someone who needs to believe in kindness. Have you ever witnessed a random act of compassion? Tell us in the comments. And don't forget to turn on notifications because more amazing true stories are coming.